Cyclone Idai has hit the continent of Africa and there's at least 350 dead. It's probably going to be in the thousands, possibly tens of thousands, they're unsure. It's an absolute and unmitigated total disaster down there. The infrastructure's washed away, the roads are washed away, the crops are washed away, the water supply's washed away, the homes are washed away on a massive scale. The southern hemisphere is telling us what the northern hemisphere might experience in the summer of 2019. Are you prepped for this? As preppers we talk blithely about prepping and surviving natural disasters. This is an absolute hammer blow of a disaster. If you have food and it's in sealed watertight buckets and the buckets don't get washed away, you're going to have some food. Nobody else around you will have. It's crushing and disastrous. If you're going to be in the path of flooding, you need to take realistic estimation of whether human-caused climate change is an actual thing, and you need to start relocating before flooding hits. The flooding that we've been experiencing all across the earth over the last 10 years is directly related to the extra humidity in the atmosphere caused by the extra carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and nitric oxide and methane that are in the atmosphere because of human burning fossil fuels. Now, if you don't accept that science, which is pretty much proven, that's fine. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay is you putting yourself at risk and putting your family at risk by denial. The tide's coming in a quite literal sense. Time is getting shorter and shorter. If you don't have adequate preps now for prolonged drought, famine, flooding, massive snowfall, it's about time you start actually cranking it up. It doesn't matter how many ferro rods you've got. It really doesn't. If you don't have good ski suits and good wear, our winters are getting pretty shorter but vicious. If you don't have the capacity to grow food to supplement your stores, if a famine strikes North America, and a lot of us think it's not if, it is when, the time scale is arguable, it does not matter. If it hits, you won't have the time to go to Walmart and buy cases of freeze-dried food. You just won't. Clean water, adequate shelter, the critical components of prepping. You've got to make sure that you have a good, honest look at where you live and how susceptible that area is to a landfall hurricane that is larger than any you've ever seen before. Toronto is a long way from the ocean. We lost 57 people in 1953 at Hurricane Hazel by flooding. Flooding will happen. Downtown Toronto, a long way from the sea, is experiencing more and more flooding each and every summer due to, boom, flash floods, rain, heavy, dense, moist atmosphere as the oceans and the ice and the glaciers evaporate, and it stays up there and it comes flying down. This is not chemtrails. This is not controlled by human beings. Human beings have kicked this into play and it's going to be really, really bad. We all know it's going to be really, really bad. What we're arguing about is it bad next year, this year, 2026, 2050, 2100? All the recent science is pointing to 2030 at the outside as the last time humanity will be able to produce anywhere near enough food on this planet for the current population, which will be over 8 billion by then. It's close to 8 billion now. Having 3 months or 6 months of food is inadequate in a climate change disaster. To expect FEMA and everybody else to bail you out is rational, unless there's a lot of people that need bailing out, or it happens over and over and over in the same season. I'm pleading with you, and I've pled with you before, take human-caused climate change seriously. It's not a hoax, it's not a gas, it's not untrue. It's an actuality. It's scientifically shown that this is what will happen. Now I know everybody's going to go down in the comments and go blah blah blah. I don't care. I don't care. You might as well argue the Earth's flat. It's proven. What we've seen in the Southern Hemisphere shows that it's accelerating and getting worse. 300,000 cows drown in Australia. That is not normal. Australia burns and burns. That is not normal. Not on the scale, not with the temperatures. 2018 was the 4th hottest year on record globally. It may have been cool where you lived, but globally it's getting hotter and hotter with each passing year. We may catch a break this summer. It may be not as warm as usual. That just delays it. We're heating up. You might believe it's not caused by humanity because the atmosphere is huge and humans are small. But I can assure you 8 billion people all trying to drive cars and have cell phones and live in 3,000 square foot homes that are powered by fossil fuels in the main and built by fossil fuels in the main is making a dramatic difference to the Earth's climate. And even if you don't accept that, look around you, slap yourself on the side of the head. This is not normal weather. Nowhere is having normal weather. The climate is disrupted, it's starting to creak, and it's starting to become, for the first time in about 30,000 years, not very hospitable to life on Earth as we know it. Take it seriously. Those who are screeching about human extinction might be right. If they are right, I want to go out with a full belly in the way I want to go out. And I want to go out helping people, not killing them. If they're wrong, we owe it to our species to try to survive. We owe it to our friends and family to try and survive. This is going to be quite clear, probably by August of this year, what is going on. When summer starts in the Southern Hemisphere last year, it absolutely took us by surprise. Summer in the Northern Hemisphere is going to start in the next few weeks. It's going to be interesting what type of spring we have. Remember, in the summer of 2018, we got the corn harvest in by the skin of our teeth in North America. Without North American farmers and farming, the world has a huge, huge deficit of food production for the number of people we have. And people won't take it well. People will not take it well, starving to death. Try and help out Zimbabwe and Mozambique and the other countries affected if you've got the cash and you're able to do so. They're in dire, dire need. What supplies are reaching them is woefully inadequate. Woefully. Currently, as I'm videoing this, they're trying to evacuate a town of 200,000 people because it's right in the path of flooding. It's unprecedented. It's another 1,000-year flood. We're having 1,000-year floods pretty often. It's not because Fox News or CNN are faking it for clicks. It's because the weather is deteriorating to the point where it is going to kill a large number of people. And if I'm wrong, then I will apologise online. I can't say it'll be this year, I can't say it'll be next year, I can't say it'll be the year after. But I think, looking at soil erosion, climate change patterns, and a few other things, I think it's a fairly safe estimate to bet our harvests in North America will fail on or before 2022. We do not have much time. You do not have the time to sit around and be complacent and watch your world slowly deteriorate. The bugs are disappearing everywhere. That means there's no fish, no birds. The oceans are becoming more and more acidic. That means there's no fish in there either. The soils are really depleted and need huge quantities of artificial petrochemicals added to them to produce what passes for fruit and veg. We're in deep trouble. Really, really deep trouble. And nobody can fix it. And nobody's trying particularly. So look at these pictures. Imagine this is your neighbourhood. Imagine these are your family and friends. What are you going to do? How are your preps going to manage through an incident like this? That's what you need to be concentrating on. Not whether human-caused climate change is a hoax or not. Not whether chemtrails are causing all of this. It's utter distraction. It's humanity causing the climate to become unstable. It's simple, it's obvious, and it's real. Stop denying it and not acting. Continue to deny it if you must, but please take some actions. This is going to happen. It's going to happen within my lifetime. It could well happen within the next year or two. Worst case. Don't take this as anything other than me sincerely asking you to crank up your food, water and shelter preps. Ammunition gets wet, okay? Food gets wet and it's useless. Consider how you're storing food, consider where you're storing food, consider where you live, consider where you work, consider how adequately you can supply an adequate amount of nutrition via gardening, if you had to. Things are getting pretty dire, and pretty much all the scientists that I've spoken to are saying the same thing. This is really bad, and they shake their heads. We can try erecting sunshades, we can try spraying aerosol, we can try putting nuclear bombs down volcanoes. None of this stuff is going to work. The scientists know that. We're in for a rocky time, a really rocky time. A rocky time humanity has not experienced in the last 30,000 years. But we're smart, and we are adaptable. But right now a lot of people aren't being very smart. They're staring at these types of pictures, and they're not seeing it as themselves in the frame. We're all in the frame. Planet Earth is seriously febrile, and it's getting to be no joke. So remember, in SHCF, tomorrow will always be worse than today, unless you prep. And pretty much guaranteed, SHCF will not happen the way you expect it to happen. Toodles.